Hello everybody and welcome back to another edition of the Spezial Ron. I'm your host Ronnie Parsons, as you all know. Now today is episode 4 of my discussion and reviewing of the 2025 Size City Series anniversary pairs to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Size. Now so far in this series we have had the Adidas Shanghai, the first pair to be released back in January of this year. It was inspired by the nightlife of Shanghai, sitting on a purple upper with orange stripes and a baby blue back tab. The Shanghai was very 80-20 and not a lot of people really took to it, and you can still buy some pairs in some select sizes in stores all across the country. We then moved on to the Dublin, a new revised colourway that's never been seen on the Dublins before. It took away from that bog standard of the blue and orange stripes, and it took its inspiration from Guinness. It's a beautiful leather shoe that I'm not sure if you can tell I have worn quite a few times. Once again, it was a mixed reception for the Dublin, and like the Shanghai, you can still buy some Dublin trainers in some stores across the country. And then for the third and final flat of the 2025 Size City Series, we went back to England and back to Liverpool specifically. A fan favourite from the 2020 drop. It was only a matter of time before we got another Liverpool, and this time it took its inspiration from the Cavern Club, which is a very important staple in Liverpool's history. So that was it for the flat silhouettes of the 2025 Size City Series, and everybody knew that the handball silhouette was going to be next, which meant one thing: could we potentially be getting an Adidas Birmingham? The original Adidas Birmingham is a complete rarity, and it was a staple of the 2010 releases, and it has been 15 years later. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know my love for the Adidas Birmingham. Every time I've done a City Series review, I've always mentioned it. In any other video I can mention it, I'll mention it. And then one day, the Liverpool marketing film was released, and there was a teaser within that video that said "Rock on to Birmingham," that teased the Birmingham were going to be next. It was going to be the first of the handball silhouettes of the 2025 Size City Series, and I could not have been happier. And then the pictures dropped of the Adidas Birmingham, and I was excited to say the least. It was a leather shoe, it had pink stripes. There was rumours it was going to be inspired by Black Sabbath, and not a lot of people sort of agreed with that, but those people were eventually proved wrong. So I knew I had to queue in Birmingham on the opening day. As with all the other City Series, they always do the home city queue first, and I knew I had to be there. As a Midlands creator, as a Midlands Adidas person, whatever you want to call that, I knew that I had to show my face on that fateful night. The ball was not in my court on this day. I turned out to be on holiday for both queues, so I missed the Birmingham queue, which I was a bit annoyed at, but I couldn't even go to Nottingham or even London or any other size store on the second queue day, as I was still on holiday. And I was on holiday for both queues, which, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know I was slightly annoyed at. Although, in hindsight, what would I rather be doing? Soaking up a tan in Turkey or getting a pair of trainers? Nevertheless, I entered the draws, were unsuccessful in those, so when I got back off holiday, I thought, I've got to try and track these down somewhere. Until one day I get a message off my good friend Mark, who I followed for a while. I met him at the queues, ran into him in Brum as I was on my way to a Sabrina Carpenter concert. That's a story for another day. So he messaged me, says he's got a pair of size 9. He only wanted retail value for them, £115 plus postage and packaging. And I was ecstatic, I was over the moon. So I said yes. I jumped at the chance. It was the cheapest that I was going to get them, and I knew I could trust Mark, and I knew that Mark was an absolute true gent, an absolute top man. I don't think there's a nicer bloke in the Adidas community that I've met so far. So Mark, you're an absolute legend, and he's the reason that these are in my possession today. So, without further ado, the moment you've all been waiting for. You've seen them already, but you've not seen my reaction and my review of these. The 2025 Adidas Birmingham. I'd like to quickly talk about the box. This is something I did in the Shanghai review, because I noticed that the box was significantly bigger, but this is a completely different size box. This is, I'd say, almost double the size box. This one is the Birmingham on the bottom, Shanghai on the top, but it is a new box from Adidas, so if you're a keen-eyed Adidas, enthusiast, I told my dad about it, and he just thought, yeah, that's a bit nerdy from you. But, they've gotten rid of the Adidas text on the bottom. So the trefoil's still there, but they've gotten rid of the Adidas font at the bottom. I'd say it's a similar... I think it's a lighter blue box than the Shanghai box is, but it also is a lot smaller, which is weird because you'd think that the flat box would be a lot smaller than the handball silhouette, 'cause it's a lot bigger and a lot chunkier. But no, it's a smaller box. So that's something weird that Adidas have done, obviously, probably from now on, whether this is just for the City Series or if this is for all the Adidas boxes moving forward. But in my opinion, I prefer the old box. I'd have rather kept the Adidas font rather than simplifying it and just having that trefoil on the front, but each to their own. So Mark did make sure to get the stamp inside, which is something I don't know if he requested, but yeah, it's good just to have that stamp inside the label of the 2025 City Series. Comes flush with the branded tissue paper, as you all know by now. Lovely double wrapped. I'll try my best to double wrap them again, but there we have them. The 2025 Adidas Birmingham. I can't stop smiling, really. Oh my god. Just sat here with a big grin on my face. It's just weird. So there you go. You've already seen it by now. These have been out for quite a while, but here are my thoughts. So it's a beautiful trainer. It is absolutely beautiful. It's something that you wouldn't expect to work, but it does. An all black leather trainer with dark pink stripes, with gold accents and gold detailing as well. My dad says he's never seen a trainer like it. You can get leather trainers, you can get stuff in similar colourways, but he says he's not quite seen a trainer that captures the essence of the Birmingham, and I think he's got a point there. I even showed him my brother, and my brother said, and I quote, "They're the bollocks." So the Parsons family approves, much like the Adidas community itself. So as you all know, the components that make up the 2025 Adidas Birmingham: a black leather upper with dark pink stripes and back tab. It's got that pink insole with the black anniversary tag. Sits atop a dark gum sole with the gold accents of Birmingham on the side and the one in 2025 on the back. It's got a black PVC material tongue. It's got a stitched in tag with a gold border and a pink trefoil with a black background. So my personal thoughts on the 2025 Adidas Birmingham: it's everything I could have asked for in a Birmingham shoe, and in a shoe in general, really. When the pictures first got released of the Adidas Birmingham, a lot of people that weren't bothered about the Size City Series up until this point were posting it on the story and saying that they were going to get a pair. So it wasn't an 80-20. I'd say that this one was 100%. People wanted the Adidas Birmingham. So much so that when the Birmingham queue happened, I think there was around 150 people in the queue, from what people have told me, which I think has been the biggest queue for the Size City Series this year. Although very popular with the masses, there was a few complaints about the Adidas Birmingham. A lot of people said that the quality control wasn't the best, especially around the stripes and the certain cutouts around the bottom of the stripes, and a lot of glue marks and different stuff like that. Whether that was individual to each person's shoe or just the Adidas production as a whole, not too sure on that front. But there was a few complaints with the quality control and the production quality of the shoe itself. Specifically to my pair, I don't think there's anything wrong with them, really. There's a couple of marks, like every trainer. Every trainer's not going to be perfect. A lot of people have said that Adidas in recent years, the production quality has gone down compared to a lot of the earlier pairs, sort of the 2000s and the 2010s especially. A lot of people call them bomb-proof. These nowadays are a bit more flimsy, or they're a bit thin, or there's a lot of different qualities that go into making trainers, and I imagine it could be just the way they make them that's different. I'm not too sure. I don't work for Adidas. I'm not a complete expert on that. And obviously, this is the first handball of the 2025 Size City Series, so there's a lot of differences compared to the flats that I've reviewed and discussed so far. The big difference, it's obviously the handball Spezial silhouette compared to the Continental silhouette, I believe they call it, but I always just call it the flat. It's also got the gold one in 2025 horizontally compared to vertically on the flat silhouettes. And another difference compared to the 2025 releases, something that we didn't see on the 2020 releases, was the italic font or text, whatever you want to call it, on the side of the trainer. Now that was something that they did in 2010 to differentiate the fact of that they had the three new cities of Birmingham, Cardiff and Glasgow respectively. And I can't remember who it was, but either Christopher Binns or Luke Matthews said in one of their size previews when they were talking about the Birmingham is that they had the italic font, and that was something that they loved about the trainer.
I agree with you. I'm completely on board with that. Obviously, we went with that in 2020, but you couldn't take that font off this shoe now. Could you imagine it with the other fonts?
No,
you couldn't. That's part of what makes it what it is, isn't it? Do you mean? But
And personally for me, I think it does make the trainer that bit unique, and it's a staple of the Birmingham trainer in general. I feel like if they just had that bold, blocky font of Birmingham, it just wouldn't look as nice, as clean, whereas I think with the italics, it just makes it that 10 times better. Now, the inspiration for the Adidas Birmingham, it got toyed around a lot that it was a Black Sabbath to coincide with the final Black Sabbath concert, the Back to the Beginning concert that they did in July, and that it was inspired by the 1970 Black Sabbath album Paranoid. And there was 4 special pairs made for the members of Black Sabbath. So what are some things that I don't like about the Adidas Birmingham? There's not a lot, and they're not major things that I don't like. One of my favourite parts of the City Series so far, as I've said with every release, is the insole. And the irony of that, it's one of the best parts of the trainer, but you can't see it because it's in your foot. The Birmingham one isn't the best one that they've done so far. I think the best ones have to go to either the Dublin or the Liverpool. They're the 2 that I like, just colour-wise or, you know, just specifics. I like them too. The Birmingham one I wasn't as struck on as the Liverpool and Dublin. Also, this is just a personal note, but the laces on the handball silhouettes and the handball trainers in general. Laces are a big thing for me, and I've never really liked the handball laces. I love the trainers, but the laces are one things that I've never liked, and they never stay intact, and you've always got to pull them tighter, and it's just one thing that, as an aesthetically pleasing thing for me, I've never liked it, but it makes the trainer what it is. Now, talking on the topic of laces, as with all the trainers so far, they do have a lace change. The pink to match the stripes and back tab. Spoiler alert, I won't be changing these laces. I think the black is perfect as it is. If it's a black shoe, it's got to have black laces in. I think with the pink, it's just too much and it's too in your face. That's a personal note for me. I know a lot of people have changed the laces over, but like I say, I'm not doing that. And this is the first City Series that we've had so far that's only come with 1 spare pair of laces, exchangeable laces. The Shanghai came with a blue pair and an orange pair to complement the stripes and back tab respectively. The Dublin then came with a red and a brown pair. The brown pair to represent the stripes and the red for the anniversary tag in the insole. And then the Liverpool came with another pair of laces, a green to represent the stripes and the insole, and then a yellow, which wasn't featured on the trainer anywhere, which I imagine was to complement the original Adidas Liverpool, which had yellow stripes to link in with the transport around Liverpool. But with the Adidas Birmingham, it is just that 1 spare pair of laces. So even though there's not another colour incorporated anywhere here, could they have incorporated something maybe purple to complement with the original trainer? Would that have worked? My colour coordination isn't as good as it should be. Would a purple lace have worked with a black and pink? Probably not. Or another colour like a brown to match the dark gum sole and to tie back into the original Adidas Birmingham with the whole chocolate Cadbury aspect. I'm not sure. It's something interesting that could have been done, but it's all null and void because I don't change laces anyway. But if the option was there, potentially I could have been swayed, like I was the Adidas Liverpool. The lace changes did kind of do it for me, but this time round, it's got to stick to black. Now, something I was very grateful for Mark to include with the trainers was the booklet and even the poster, something that I'm adamant to get and get for all of the City Series that I've got so far. Once again, the Birmingham booklet is flush with the colours of the trainer. You've got the 4 on the back, signifying it's the 4th trainer of the release. And it's a really interesting read. The pictures look amazing in this one, and I think it's probably my favourite booklet as well as the Liverpool. I think the pictures just essence the booklet and the colourways and stuff like that just work with this certain booklet, but it's a great read and it's lovely to see. The pictures look incredible and it's just a great piece to have alongside the trainer. And the poster, once again, is really cool. I think it's these things that I like to have, the booklet and the poster, and once I've got all 6, I'm going to work on getting them framed and hanging them up, because I think they'd be a great addition to the Adidas room, cave, whatever you want to call it. And Mark is so on point with everything that he sent me that he even included the receipt in the box. So he bought them in Nottingham the week after, and it was 9:30 in the morning. So I imagine it was a long night queuing for Mark. Ever so grateful that he's included every little bit and he's not left a single piece. It's like I was there and got this all myself, but Mark was there in spirit for me. So nice one, Mark. You're an absolute legend. What does it mean to me owning a pair of the 2025 Adidas Birmingham. I can now comfortably say that I own a pair of Adidas Birmingham, with an asterisk next to it. Obviously, it's not the original 2010, it's the 2025 release. But just to have a trainer that's got Birmingham written on it, it's good for me. I know a lot of people are disgusted with the fact that the trainer looks lovely, but they ruined it by writing Birmingham on the side. For me, it actually makes it better. Just to have Birmingham as a trainer and have Adidas have a connection with the Midlands is everything I love. So just to have a pair that I own is great, in my opinion. I am fritting to wear them though. I am very scared to wear this pair in case I ruin them. Obviously they're leather, so I doubt that they'll get ruined, and can wear them in the rain and everything, they'll be fine. But even just having them creasing, it just is going to mess with my mind. I'm going to get another pair eventually when the money's right. I'm going to get probably a resale pair, so by the time that I buy them, it will probably be 200 quid. But I want to get as many pairs. A pair to wear and absolutely batter. I don't intend to batter them, but if I do, that I've got another pair sat there ready and waiting. And even a pair as a collector's item. I'm very big on wearing and not staring, but I think as a bit of history and a bit of a collaboration with Birmingham and Adidas, I feel like I've got to have sort of a museum-esque pair in my collection, so that is the plan. As of yet, not sure when I'm going to wear them. Special occasion, maybe. Or maybe even my first day back in uni. Back to Birmingham. I might wear them then. We'll see how the land lies. And on a quick note, we know what trainer we're getting next. It's a Glasgow. It was teased in the Birmingham marketing video, which was a great video, by the way. It was teased in the stained glass window. It said, here we go to Glasgow. What that trainer's going to be like, I don't know. Looking at the colour palette on the posters and in the booklet, it's looking like it's a dark purple with white, which is very similar to the Adidas Birmingham, the original from 2010. So is it going to be similar to that? Is it going to be reverse colourway? Is it going to be a white trainer with dark purple stripes? There's a rumour that it's inspired by King Tut's famous music venue within Glasgow. Who knows? We'll probably find out within the coming days, but rest assured, no matter how it looks, I'll be there queuing in Birmingham. Fingers crossed, I'm not on holiday. So thank you all for watching this edition of the Spezial Ron. If you couldn't tell, I'm a very happy boy now that I've got the Birmingham in my possession. I was like a whinging baby over on Instagram that I couldn't get my hands on any Birmingham, whether it be queuing on the raffles or just anyway. I didn't get my hands on them until Mark dropped me a message, and my life has changed forever on that day. So yeah, I'm very happy at the moment. So thank you all for watching episode 4 in my 6-part series of breaking down and reviewing, discussing the Size City Series 2025 anniversary trainers. 4 down, 2 more to go. So far we've been to China and looked at the nightlife of Shanghai. We've then flew over to Dublin to get a pint of Guinness. We've then caught the ferry across the Mersey to go to the Cavern Club in Liverpool. And finally we've been to Birmingham to look at the roots of heavy metal. Our next stop is Glasgow. What will be the reason? I'm guessing we'll soon find out. Thank you all for watching. I've been the Spezial Ron, and I'll see you at some point in the near future.